Hi, I'm Tim Carter. Welcome to Ask the Builder, our live stream today. It's I'm a little late, but I'm here. All right, so um, I got a message via chat from Cathy, she who must be obeyed, my lovely wife of 47 years. Yeah, we're survivors. Anyway, she asked me if I could take her to go get some birdseed because she was going to get it herself. And anyway, it's a long story. But so the timing was I wouldn't be back until like 20 after 4. So anyway, I'm here. I'm glad you're here. And um, let's thank our sponsor. You already know who it is. It doesn't get any better than this, Stain Solver. I push Stain Solver because it's a really good product. And I think if you don't know me very well, uh, I've kind of made that my hallmark. In other words, I sometimes I'll do reviews of really bad products to warn you. Um, but the trouble with reviews now online, and I warn the companies about this. I just say, it's not like the old days where you had a magazine and they just collect dust or a newspaper and they're gone. With the internet, those reviews they stay there forever, or until such time as the website dies or you don't pay your hosting fee. Anyway, so I tell you about good products. Stain Solver, certified organic, oxygen bleach. It's just a powder you mix with water and you end up with this cleaning solution that cleans anything that's water washable. That's all you need to know. Just go to the Stain Solver website, look at all the videos, and I think you'll be impressed. Simple as that. And I own the company with Cathy, so and we only use ingredients that are made in the USA. It's truly a product made in the USA. So if Dustin were here, he would love it. Dustin from yesterday, poor guy's getting his hey, how you doing there, missing? uh oh, that's great, great. That I'm glad you like the videos. Some things might be in the works where you're going to see a lot more. So what you need to understand about my videos, it's here's one of the things where I'm attracted to the live stream, but there's things I like about it, there's things I don't like about it. Uh there's no post-production. There's no the trouble with my videos that you've probably watched is I actually have to do whatever I'm talking about. And for example, in the process, let's say I wanted to grout a floor, like my grouting floor tile series. That was like a 4 or 5 hour project, you know. And then you have to cut all the footage. I mean, it just whereas the live streaming, it's just hour for hour, minute for minute. I mean, I talk and it's done and it's over. But you don't get to really see me do anything. But that might change in the spring. We might do some things and might have some fun. If I can get a videographer here, we could actually do some really cool stuff. If I can recruit locally a videographer, we could actually do some small little projects. I think that would be really fun to try, just so you know. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about this right now. I talked about this about a month ago. This is a really cool flashlight, very bright. I mean, I know it's going to blind you. So it's so bright. And it's here's I don't know that I said this on the live stream a month ago. So what's really cool about this too is it's got another LED right here. I don't know if that's really obvious, but it's got the primary one there, then it's got one here so that you can hang this. It's magnetic. There's the magnet, and then you can rotate it so you can have this light here shine down where you might need it. Very handy, very smart. It's like, why didn't they think of this years ago? All right, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter why they didn't. But here's one thing I thought of yesterday morning. I'm here in my office and I'm looking at this flashlight. I love this flashlight. I love the size of it. I love how it feels in my hand. It's everything about this is a wonderful flashlight. All right, and the link to it is right up here in the chat if you want to buy one. What's interesting is how many times, how many, and it could be flashlights, it could be anything else. It could be anything else that was battery powered. How many times have you ruined the thing because you didn't use it? You forgot the batteries were in it. You go to turn it on. It doesn't turn on. The batteries are dead. You open it up and it's all corroded. and the flashlight or the cassette tape player or whatever it might be is ruined and you throw it away. All right. Well, guess what? You don't have that problem with these things. All right. You don't have that trouble. Now, the only disadvantage with these, but you can solve it. I'm going to show you how to solve it. Is that with a traditional flashlight, if it goes dead, in a minute, as long as you have 2 new batteries or 3, you're back in business. Well, not with these bad boys. You got to charge it back up. But so you need to have, if you don't already have one, you need to have something like this. So this is just a storage battery, and it's got a tiny solar cell. But this is something that, it's got, you can plug in a USB thing there. It's got another port on the side here, an extra one somewhere. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's over here. You can have two, you can charge 2 phones out of this at the same time, or recharge this flashlight. But I'm just saying, so so this is your spare battery, in case of an emergency. So these are not too expensive. I have a review about this on the website. But the point is, the flashlight doesn't get ruined. It's that simple. It doesn't get ruined when if the battery dies. Hi, Louise. How you doing? Oh, thank you. Missing that floor grout video series has gotten a lot of views. And there's a lot of really positive comments. It really helped a lot of people. It's funny. If you've been watching a lot of these live streams, so my wife just 20 minutes ago said, what are you going to talk about today? And I told her, well, I'm going to talk about gravity retaining walls. And she just kind of rolled her eyes, as if, who wants to hear me talk? All right. It's kind of a running joke here in the house. If you've been with somebody for a long time, there's not a doubt in my mind you've got these little inside jokes, So anyway, I told her, I said, a lot of people like to listen to me. A lot of people, I said, a lot of people. And so I was in my mind referring to a lot of the positive comments I've gotten on YouTube, but I've also gotten these negative ones where people will type in the comments like, shut up and just do the job. We don't want to hear you talk. So the reason I talk, if you haven't noticed, is I'm trying to explain stuff to you in the videos that the other people don't explain. And you're probably there watching the video asking all this big litany of questions. Like, what about this? What should the grout be? When should you do this? When should you do that? Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, I'm answering all those questions. And you can see that in the comments. So anyway, I'm not going to change how I do my videos. I've said this 10 times in these live streams. I learned many, many, many years ago, it's impossible to satisfy everyone, and I'm not going to try. And I just know that by explaining what's going on and what the pitfalls are, and what I really like to do in the videos is somebody will tell you, they'll say, do this, whatever this is, do this. And I can just hear you saying, what happens if I don't do it? And of course, they never tell you. They just say, do this. But you're screaming at the video. Well, you might not scream, but you might say, well, what happens if I don't do that? Well, I explain what happens if you don't do that, because it's important. It's an important step, but I explain why. So, but some people don't like me to do that. Doesn't matter. All right. Louise, how you doing? You say, hey, Tim, do you like how the flashlight is bright? Oh, yeah. In fact, these LEDs, they are so bright. Crazy bright. All right. So blindingly bright, but I do like them. It's a great technology. The whole LED technology is absolutely fantastic when you think about it, instead of the old fashioned filaments, that Edison came up with. Missing. Yeah, I'm not going to change. I don't, and just so you know, I've seen enough sunrises. All right. To know that people don't change. You're not going to change people. If you try to change somebody, it's like trying to push a boulder up a mountain. It's impossible. All right. So knowing that, I've got no intention of changing. I like how I do the videos. So I've got a lot more that I want to do. Um, One of the things I've wanted to do, but I don't. The problem is there's not. I don't think there's a home. I know there's not. There's not a homeowner market for it. I've always wanted to do a really in-depth video series on how to frame a roof. I love everything there is about roof framing. And I was thinking about building a very small little roof off the ground, like maybe 4 by 8, and build a little hip roof on it. Because with the hip roof, you can show, well, you could actually build an L shape like my last shed I built. And you could do a regular gable, you can do a hip, and you can do a valley. That's probably what I'll do. But it would be a very intense video series. And I absolutely have to have a videographer. So, but the trouble is, the average homeowner like you're not going to buy that. You're not going to frame your own roof. I just can't see you doing it. I just can't see it. But it might be helpful to some young carpenters. I don't know. So, hi Gucci, how you doing? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. If you have any questions about your home, that's why I'm here today. Anything you want to ask about, you can ask anything. Actually, I really don't care what you ask. I mean, you can ask about anything. I mean, there's certain topics I won't talk about, but uh, I don't know about flood zone A, but I'll talk to you about flooding, though. My college degree is in geology. So you need to ask me some specific questions about flood zones, and I'll be happy to answer them. So I'm trying to determine BFE. I don't even know what that is. BFE. I don't know. You have to explain that to me. So explain what you're trying to find out. I'll do my best to talk you through it. While you're doing that, I'm going to talk just really quickly about the gravity retaining walls. That was the title of the live stream. That photo that was the thumbnail for the live stream. Those are walls on my property that they actually face south, but I see them when I walk up to my man cave when I look out the window, and those are just simple granite boulders, just stacked up like you would stack cordwood. No mortar, no concrete, no nothing. Some of the boulders 3-4 feet in diameter. They do a fantastic job of holding back the earth. I mean, you can see it. I mean, you can see that they work really well. So I just wrote a column about the gravity retaining walls. I'm actually going to activate the column in the morning, and I'll put the link to it tomorrow in the live stream. But they're really, really great walls, and they're simple to build. You could build a gravity retaining wall 3 or 4 feet high just yourself with small rocks, and you just have to make the base thicker. The gravity retaining walls, you can't just take 8 inches worth of concrete block and go 4 feet high. That's just going to tip over. You have to make the base wider than the top. So here's the wall, and the wall's supposed to lean in a little bit. So what happens is the part of the wall that you can't see, it's almost like a triangle. So it's wide. It's about half as wide. The base is the width of the base is half the height of the wall. So if the wall's 4 feet high, the base should be 2 feet wide, and then it just starts to taper up. All right. So here we go. Gucci wants to know about base flood elevation. So I'm going to assume that what you mean by that is for example, in Cincinnati, I have a friend who owns some property in the floodplain, and when they went to get a remodeling permit, they had to make sure that the floor level of this thing was above probably the base flood elevation. What you're calling BFE, they called it like the 50-year flood in Cincinnati, and they have a height above sea level, or what it has to be in certain areas. And so the way that you determine that is, number one, if you don't even know what it is, then you have to go to your local building officials, and they will tell you in that neighborhood what it is. Because remember, here's what you need to know. It's not, unless you're building around a lake. If you're building on a river, the BFE changes as you go downstream, right? Because the river is not level. So if they're telling you that the BFE is, well, I'm just going to make this number up, is 500 feet above sea level, for this 10-mile stretch, you tell them, I got news for you. At 10 miles upstream, the river is 5 feet higher than what it is down there. I mean, because obviously, right? Rivers have to have fall to them. I'm exaggerating it. I'm exaggerating. They have to tilt, or otherwise, how are they going to drain to the ocean, right? I mean, come on. Uh, so, so anyway, you go to the city, your town, and you find out what is the height in this neighborhood that I have to build to. Then, what you can do, this is not necessarily easy. I don't know if you know what a benchmark is, Gucci. I have photos of them, but I don't have the software yet to bring it up. So a benchmark is a round. It's about this diameter, about 3 inches or so. Yeah, it'd be about 3 inches in diameter. It's brass. They're put out by the U.S. Geodetic Survey. They are. You can find them in your neighborhood. Surveyors have to use them. They are these brass or bronze benchmarks, and that's what they're called, a benchmark. And they have stamped on them the feet above elevation. They just say this benchmark is, I don't know, 493.6 feet above sea level. All right, so once you find the closest benchmark and you know what that elevation is, and then if they're telling you that the flood elevation's here, like if they're saying it's at this height, and they give you the number, then you can do the math. In other words, I don't know, just I'm making it up, 18 feet. So you then have to use your transit or builder's level and work your way back to your place to find out where your elevation has to be. It's not easy. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, a surveyor is probably going to charge, I don't know what surveyors charge. I'm guessing a surveyor, they've got really sophisticated equipment. They can do it really quickly. They could do it, I don't know, $800-900, just as a guess. But you can also get this is a cruder method. You can get Topo Maps. If you know anything about Topo Maps, and you can use Google Maps, has got terrain maps that are Topo Maps. Yeah, 7K. Wow, geez, oh Pete. So get this, Gucci. You can go to the I'm trying to see here if I got one handy. Oh, well, so right up here. So right up here on the wall, that is a topographic map, and that's the topographic map for Denali National Park. It happens to be printed on a bandana. My daughter bought me a bunch of different. I have 6 of them here, and I use them here for sound control to keep the sound down. Anyway, here's what's cool about the Topo Maps. All right, this can get you close. All right. Oh, so you're down in Florida. Okay. You can go online, Gucci, and just type into Google Florida topographic maps, or your city, topographic map for your city. And here's what's cool is on the edges of these maps, they give you the latitude and longitude. All right. And then here's what's really cool. You can go to your property on your phone. Come on, everybody. Who does that's what I love about these live streams. This is so much fun to do this. So who doesn't have one of these, right? Stupid phone. And I happen to have a you can download these free apps that give you latitude and longitude. So you can go to your property, Gucci, stand where you have to be or whatever you're trying to do, activate the thing, turn on your GPS, and get the exact flipping coordinates of where you're standing. You can even type those into Google Map, and then it'll bring up the map in the little balloon of where you are. Switch to terrain maps, and you can then extrapolate. You could be within a foot of the elevation. All right. So here's what you need to understand. So on a topo map, the lines, these squiggly lines that you see on a topo map, what that line is, that any place you stand on that line, that is the elevation above sea level. All right. So if and the difference between the lines is it depends on the scale of the map. So sometimes the difference between contour lines is 2 feet, sometimes it's 5 feet, sometimes it's 10 feet, doesn't matter. But if you find the little pointer on Google Maps is halfway between two lines. All right, two lines. Here's a line, and then the pointer's right here. Then you're that elevation where you were standing is whatever halfway is between those two contour lines, and they're marked on the map what the contour is. So you could get really close. I mean, will you be exact? No. But when the inspector comes out, is he going to bring a flipping transit? No. All right. So, I mean, just think it through. How to when unless they require you down in Florida that you have to have a registered surveyor set the pin. I don't know. I don't know what the regs are down in Florida. So anyway, I hope that helped you. Does that make any sense? Do you have any questions about it? And I'll be happy to explain it. Anybody else, if you have a question, ask. I mean, that's the whole point. Just ask whatever you want to ask. I don't care what it is. I'll do my best to answer it. And while I'm waiting for Gucci to jump back in, okay, you're welcome. I hope it made sense. And here's the cool thing: all of that information is free. It's free, and those. Let me tell you right now, those topographic maps put up by the USGS, they are very accurate. They are highly accurate. I mean, they take these three-dimensional. They take stereoscopic photos, airplanes. Now they do it, I'm sure, by satellite, but and satellite radar. But in the old days, they took photos, airplanes. They take stereoscopic photos, and I'm telling you what, man, they are accurate. They are really accurate. So, but you can get daggone close, is all I can tell you. Steve got a question. Tim, do you do virtual home consultations for investment properties via Zoom? Yes, I do that. And in fact, to save you a little bit of money, let me go here. I'm going to pull up a product that maybe this is all you need. I just gave this to my son the other day. I am pulling up this product. So this is this is a really interesting product that I developed. I do such a horrible job of selling my products. I'm not kidding. I suck at it. I mean, suck at it. All right. Hey, Steve, how you doing? I'll answer your question in just a second. I would say yes, dams are the tallest retaining walls. So this product I just linked to. So, Steve, this may be all you need to starters. So what this product is, I developed this checklist that, let's say you're thinking about buying a home. All right. And I'd be interested, Steve, you might have some information about this. I'm really interested in what happens in the UK. Here in the United States, it's a trend that started 30 years ago. I was one of the first ones to do it in Cincinnati. The people back in the 1980s, they were going to buy a house and they would just have a good builder go through it to tell them if there was something wrong with the house. Well, that eventually blossomed into this home inspection industry, and it's huge. I mean, it's got to be $1 billion industry in America. And when I bought this house in New Hampshire, even though I'd say I'm a pretty good inspector, I wanted to get a second opinion. So I hired an ASHI inspector. That's the best ones. ASHI stands for American Society of Home Inspectors. Anyway, so back 13 years ago was $500. So I could only imagine that a house inspection now, I don't know, $800,000. I don't know, for a good one. I mean, not some crappy inspector. All right. So this checklist, the whole point of the checklist is it allows you, the average person who doesn't know much about houses. I actually say, go look at this, go look at that, go look at this, because these could be really big deal breakers. And I kind of explain what's right and what should be wrong. So, so you may start with that. And if that doesn't work, or you don't like that, if you buy that, Steve, and you don't like it, we'll just apply that to a phone consult. But the answer is yes. I have done several phone consults where people are on their phone and we're walking through the property. And so, yeah, absolutely. I do that. Yes. Happy to do it for you. Yeah. See what a bad job I do. Um, you can help me. What you can help me. What would you have typed into Google for that checklist? Like, what would you have been looking for? Because I probably have it titled wrong. And that's the problem. In other words, I don't know what you're typing. Maybe home inspection checklist. I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's get back to Gucci. Yes, it did. My survey did not tell me I could attempt to use Google. Yeah, of course he's not going to tell you you could do this. That's hilarious. That's like the doctors over here in America are not going to tell you like, oh, you you can go to the local grocery store and buy quercetin and take quercetin and some zinc and you're going to be fine, man. You're not going to get the illness. You think they're telling you that? Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Steve, you need to when all this silliness is over, which I don't think it's going to be over, by the way, that's a whole nother subject, another day. You should come over, dude. You would love to see in person the Hoover Dam. I've been there 2 or 3 times. I read it. There's a book on Amazon that you should get, how they built the Hoover Dam. It's a fascinating book. But oh my gosh, I don't know how tall that thing is. It's got to be 700-800 feet tall. It's huge. But here's what's cool about it. Once they started pouring concrete, all right, it's like they poured the first bucket of concrete and they continued to pour concrete until it was done. They never stopped. It's just crazy. I mean, it's just such a very unique way they built that dam. No, thank you, Gucci. I hope that all made sense. And if you need, just so you know, if you need further help, to Steve's point, I do over the phone consults. You can go to my shopping cart, shop.askthebuilder.com, and in the left-hand column, you see consult Tim. So blah, blah, blah. So I can help you out over the phone. I can help. I do lots of those consults each week. It's a fun business, and it's fun, really fun helping people, they save so much money. Oh my gosh. We call them surveyors. Steve says, we call them surveyors. People wouldn't buy a house. Interesting surveyor. You call them surveyors. So here in America, we call a surveyor the person that goes out and shows you where your property lines are. They drive those pins in the ground to show you exactly where the corners of your property are. People wouldn't buy a house without having a survey done. Exactly right. And it's a smart thing. It's a smart to get that inspection or the surveyor. And then so you're out. Yeah, I am missing. I am out there, but I'm not out there as much as I'd like to be. I can tell you that. Exactly. You never got linked to that checklist in my searches. The reason, well, there's a bunch of reasons why you might not have been linked to that, but I'm going to try to work on that. Fun fact, they did not survey our house. So that's actually that should be another live stream topic, actually. That's a great idea. Let me write that down. Here's my notebook for topics. And I already told you that I'm a big fan of fountain pens, old-fashioned fountain pens, real ink. But got 2 ideas from this. So the 2 ideas are land surveys and house inspections. All right, so there we go. All right, so 2 great topics for future live streams. You lost a quarter of an acre. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame. We fought the house and we thought the house the builder lived in when he started the country took. All right, what a shame. That's why it's really important to like anytime I bought any type of property, my father-in-law taught me this. I always, you know, I have to see where the property is. I have to see the actual property pins, and it's so important. And anyway, got it. Yeah, you bought the house. I got it. Absolutely. Really great stuff here. Um, so what did I want to? What else did? Oh, I'll tell you this. So tomorrow I may be in a little bit bad shape. I can already feel it happening. So uh, over the past 36 hours, we've gotten about 2.5 inches of snow, and I call it. I hate the snows that it does. The I call them these pesky snows. So the snow is about. It's very light and fluffy. It's not enough snow to use the snowblower on, so you have to push it. You have to push it with a shovel. So there's one part of my driveway that's really steep, and about 2 hours ago, well, 3 hours ago now, 3 hours ago, my daughter had to go somewhere. Anyway, it's a long story. I fell down. I mean, I went down so fast and I tumbled. I hit my left shoulder. I cut my right arm. So I know tomorrow I'm going to be sore. I can just feel it coming. So um, anyway, it was my fault. We have these wonderful things here. Maybe one day I'll show them to you. You can look online. They're called microspikes. So they are it's just like, chains for a car tire, like when you put chains on a tire. These are like chains for your feet, and they have these like little pointed things. And I'm telling you what, when you wear these microspikes, you're not slipping. I mean, they're fantastic. There's things called my neighbors when I first came up here. They had a thing called yak tracks. They were horrible. They were like springs on the bottom. They broke right away. They were horrible. But microspikes, get the microspikes. They're amazing. That's all I can tell you. Um, yeah, I've done that too. This particular snow, I could have used a leaf blower. It's a good idea. Um, yeah, the Hoover Dam. Well, I'll tell you something about the Hoover Dam. So, right after the horrible 9/11 event here in the United States, which was what, like 20 years ago. Hard to believe it's been, and I've got, that's there it is right there. It was very important for me. That was a very important day for me. Um, so I had to go out west for a trip like the following summer, and I was with my daughter, and we had to drive across the Hoover Dam. Well, um, what they did is they had not yet built the bridge. The Hoover Dam is so important. Steve, get this. The Hoover Dam is such a major part of that part of our nation's economy because it provides all of this flipping, all this power. I mean, the power that's generated by that dam goes all the way to Los Angeles, to many, many cities. The water is really important. That water is doled out to farmers in the South Central Valley. Blah 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 blah. You can read all about it. All right. Well, they were worried that terrorists were going to try to blow up the Hoover Dam. All right. So so as a result, I mean, the long-term planners said, you know what? We're not letting people drive across the Hoover Dam ever again. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. So they immediately started on plans, and they built that bridge. It's a spectacular suspension bridge that's immediately adjacent to the dam, and probably took 4 or 5 years to build that bridge. But if while they were building the bridge, you could still drive across the dam, but you had to stop before you got down to the dam. That your car was inspected. They put mirrors under your car. They were checking for bombs. I mean, it was pretty serious stuff. So, and it's a spectacular structure. I mean, you just have to come over and see it. I mean, you just cannot believe how. And you can walk down to it now. That what happens is you can visit the dam, but you cannot drive your car. They've got barricades up. You can't get your car on top of the dam. All right, simple as that. Yes, Lancaster bombers. Are we talking about that? I read a book about this. I think you guys, you guys were so smart. You skipped bombs over the net, I think. The Germans thought they had figured it out, that they put these nets in the water, to stop torpedoes. But you guys figured out how to, just like you skip a stone across a pond. Isn't that right? Am I right about that? I think I read that in a book somewhere, Steve. Kind of fascinated about World War II. You British guys are pretty clever, is all I can tell you. You're pretty smart. Yeah, the bouncing bomb. Exactly. Fantastic. What a great. I read that story. You guys are amazing. Flipping amazing. All right. What else can we talk about? Why don't we have some fun here? Why don't we talk about something that has nothing to do with home improvement? I'm kind of in a wild mood. But we got to stay away from the topics. The topics we can't talk about. Come on, we're not going to talk about them. But what is there something else you want to talk about? I'm happy to go way off course here. I'm kind of in a feisty mood today, so I'm happy. So I'll let you pick the topic and we'll go there. I think that would be fun to do, actually. I'll tell you one thing I learned about yesterday, and I don't know enough about it to talk about it. I'm just starting to go down the rabbit hole. I had a presentation I attended, a very secret one, about non-fungible tokens. So NFTs, that's the acronym, NFT. So non-fungible tokens. All I can tell you is they're going to be big. They're going to be so big. So I'm trying to figure out how I might be able to do non-fungible tokens with Ask the Builder. I've got a couple of ideas, so I just have to learn more about it, and then I may mint some non-fungible tokens, and we'll have some fun. So anyway, so if you're looking for some interesting reading to do, if you have some free time over the holidays, start reading up on it. Look into they're called non-fungible. So it's one word: NONFUNGIBLE, and then token, TOKEN. Read up on them. All right. What did I want to tell you about? I didn't do any type of consult call this morning, which I was kind of surprised about. I did have a woman who's on my newsletter list who wanted to do a consult call this past Monday, but she had to cancel out of it. But what she was interested in doing is she was interested in running fiber optic cable in her home and in a commercial building her parents own. And really kind of an interesting thing when you think about it. There's all different, the fiber optic cable comes in all different sizes, but it's a little fragile, as you might expect, because you don't want to be breaking that cable, snapping it and breaking it. All right. So as I always suggest, I figured there might be an association or some group that publishes best practices for how to handle it and how to do it. And of course I was right. I looked it up and all that information was there. Yeah, missing. You're right. The art world is there. The sports world started the whole thing, I think, from what I can gather. They've been around for a few years. It's kind of hard to get your head around these NFTs because they're digital assets and they're one of a kind. They each have a serial number, and that's baked in. But all you really own are electrons, right? So, whereas, this is made from atoms. I own this, so I can touch this, but you can't touch an NFT. All right. So I think that's going to be a big barrier for a lot of people. I think my gut feeling, and I could be wrong, is the early adopters get it, but the average person, I think they're going to have a really hard time getting their head wrapped around it. I can't wait to see how it develops. I've been wrong before, just so you know. All right. Steve wants to know, how does the drinking water different in different states? It's as different as, this is going to be kind of a bad analogy, but I'm just going to use non-drinking water drinks. This is different as if for you to taste a Coca-Cola versus a Sprite versus a root beer versus a glass of wine. All right. So what I mean by that is it's water. Okay, got it. But here I'll give you an example. So back in Cincinnati, in all of our major cities, Steve, and I don't, I have to believe that London's the same way. All your big cities. So if you start thinking about, I think a lot of people don't think about this, and I only know about it because I think I'm because of my geology degree in college. So there's always something, always something that's part of a big city. Can you think of what it is? It's like every big city has got one of these things. They're right next to it. It's a river. All right. All right. So they're near a river because the people in the city need water. All right. But the trouble is, the water isn't necessarily clean. So here in America, for example, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. So, Steve, if you look at a map of the United States and you locate Cincinnati, Ohio, you're going to notice that, the Ohio River's really long, and there's all these little towns and cities, medium-sized towns and cities that are on the river, and way upstream we've got Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is a very big city, and then in West Virginia we've got all these chemical plants. All right. So the rivers serve two purposes. All right. I'm probably going to make you sick right now. So you probably have never been to yours. Probably don't give it much pay attention. They on purpose, they try to put these things in out of the way places. Like they're not going to put this thing right next to Buckingham Palace down in London. All right. They're not going to do that. So I'm talking about the sewage treatment plants. All right. So they put those things out of sight, kind of in areas where people don't go. So what happens is all the sewage in the city comes to the sewage treatment plant. They treat it, but it's not totally perfect. And then they do what? They put it right back in the river. They're just constantly raw sewage in the river. Not raw sewage. They're putting treated effluent in the river. All right. So your drinking water, I'm answering the question in a second. So your drinking water, you're drinking the people upstream their sewage. All right. So in other words, we've got your city has to treat the water. Well, in Cincinnati, they put a lot of chlorine in it, and what happened is you drink it all these years and you get used to it. There's just chlorine in the water, just like taking some chlorine bleach, not super strong, but if I go back, when I come from New Hampshire and go back to Cincinnati to visit, I cannot drink the water. The water tastes that bad. All right. It tastes horrible. Horrible. But for 55 years, I drank it because you know what? I didn't know any better. All right. So my water here in New Hampshire is well water. And I don't know how to describe it to you, but it is so refreshing. There's no odor. It's just wonderful water. It's so refreshing. It tastes amazing. It really doesn't have a taste, but maybe that's why it's so amazing. So the water will taste differently in the different cities around the nation, depending on how much they have to treat it. So if that answers your question. So the water in New York City will not necessarily taste like the water in Phoenix, Arizona, all right, or Seattle, Washington. So all I can tell you is, and here's what's really interesting about New Hampshire. We have all of these, maybe as a kid, or you'd read books or you'd hear stories about how in this fairy tale that the travelers stopped by a spring and they got some drinking water. Well, here in New Hampshire, we have all these springs all over the place. And there's a very historic one. You should look this up. Go to Google and type in Bristol, just like I think Bristol is a big town in the UK. So many of our towns here in New Hampshire have got English names. All right. So Bristol, New Hampshire Spring. Right? It's a very famous one. And they fixed it up really nicely. people go there, man. I mean, water's pouring out of this pipe, and they'll load 25, 30, 40 gallons of the spring water into their car or their truck. There's 5 or 10 people waiting to fill their containers. That water is I've gotten it. It's absolutely amazing. So if you ever have a chance to, I don't know how it is out in the countryside in the UK, but I imagine it's the same thing. I imagine you have some really wonderful, beautiful, clean spring drinking water springs that you can use. So hope that answers your question. Probably talked way too long about it. Oh, Josh, are you kidding me? What do you know? Yeah, I don't know what that bridge cost. It's got to be. It had to be $1 billion. I mean, it was a huge. I mean, oh my gosh, it's an amazing bridge. All right, so good for you. So, and Steve says in London, the water's really hard. Yeah, we have all kinds of hard water issues here in the United States. So, yes. Yeah, we have big time hard water all over the place. I even the water here on my well is a little hard, and I've got a water conditioner that helps take out. I have to have a water conditioner because Cathy grows. She doesn't consider herself a professional, but she's a professional orchid grower, and so the water's got to be just right to water her orchids. So anyway, doesn't matter. Steve, you didn't. That's a great. Isn't that wonderful? Maybe I should write a column about it. It'll make everybody sick. Yeah, I mean, now think about this. If you really want to, this is actually amazing when you think about it. So think how many people we'll just use Cincinnati again. So Cincinnati, the greater metropolitan area, over 1 million people. The city of Cincinnati proper, probably 400,000 people. I don't know, 300,000, 400,000. So think about what's happening in the morning when people are getting up from bed and they're going to the toilet and the sewers just get jam packed, man. I mean, I had to tap a sewer once on a new house job. I'm a sewer tapper as well as a licensed master plumber. And, sometimes we have to tap into a sewer to put a new branch in for a house. Well, and actually it's kind of interesting. I'll show you something, the way it's done. So let's imagine this is the sewer pipe and you're looking down the sewer pipe. So we don't put the tap in here. And this is the bottom of the sewer pipe and this is the top. So we always tap the sewers here at about 11 o'clock, like 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock. That's where you tap them. All right. So anyway, I knew this was a pretty big trunk line serving probably, I don't know, 1,000 houses, maybe more. It's been a long time, been 25, 30 years. And I just knew that we were not going to tap the sewer at 9 in the morning because it would be filled. And if you drilled into that pipe, I mean, it would just be horrible. I mean, that first hole you drilled, because that sewer is under pressure, it's like a fire hose. Think about that. When these sewers are coming down these hills and in these valleys and they're filled with sewage, they're pressurized. I mean, you do not drill a hole in that thing. All right, so I waited till about 10:30, and my backhoe operator's there and we're just taking our time. And I go, okay, let's do this, So I get out my hammer drill and I start drilling. I mark the hole and I drill the way you tap a sewer. This was a concrete pipe. You would do the same thing if it was a clay. You just take a hammer drill with a 1/4-inch bit, small bit, and you just drill a series of holes around it, and you space them just about a 1/2 inch apart, and then, you can then take a hammer and just you can start to break that or a chisel and you break the hole. All right. I do that. And I mean, right at the base. So here's this big 18-inch pipe and I'm up here and right at the base where my finger is right here, the sewage was that high. I mean, this sewage is just racing by. I mean, the sewage in the pipe is at least 1 foot deep and it's just horrible. And, so we tapped it really quickly. I put the band. The way you tap it's really kind of cool. If you've never tapped a sewer before, I doubt you have. They have these cast iron. It's a cast iron fitting, and the shape. You have to know the size of the pipe before you go to the job site. I always carried different ones with me in case somebody made a mistake. I always had all these parts because once you're down there, you want to tap it and get the hell out of that hole. All right, so it's a cast iron casting, but it's got the bottom of the casting is the outer diameter of the sewer pipe, and it also has a built-in rubber gasket. All right, and then you have this big stainless steel, like a band clamp, about 2 inches wide. It's all stainless steel bolts that wraps around the pipe, just like a belt around your waist, and then you bolt the tapping cast iron to the hole. All right, and it's done. I mean, once it's all excavated, you can tap the sewer in a half an hour. All right. So, but I was stunned at how much sewage was coming down that pipe at mid-morning. All right. So anyway, the last point is, here's all you need to know. So you have all these people in the city, and you have thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of water, sewage, raw sewage, tens of thousands of gallons coming into the sewage plant every hour. I mean, like a big sewage treatment plant. All right, so common sense tells you something, right? If you have, let's just pick the number 10,000 gallons. If you have 10,000, because that's a pretty respectable number for a bigger city. You have 10,000 gallons of sewage coming into the sewage treatment plant. What does it have to be doing every hour? It's got to be getting rid of 10,000 gallons, because otherwise the sewage plant's going to overflow. All right, so you need to understand that the river just below where your sewage treatment plant is, I mean, like, you would never, ever want to go in that water. I mean, you'd have to have your head examined. All right, so just keep this in mind. You need to know where these sewage treatment plants are. You do not want to be getting in the water. All right. Below the treatment plant, because it is constantly putting treated sewage into the river. Simple as that. It's a common sense type of thing. All right. So, Steve says, do you still have fluoride in your water? Good for you. You guys banned it. In certain cities, yes, like Cincinnati still has fluoride in the water. I think it's a big scam. It's horrible idea. Horrible idea. And like here in New Hampshire, like, I mean, I have no fluoride in my well water. And when I buy toothpaste, I make sure the toothpaste I buy has no fluoride in it. So anyway, bad stuff. Hi, Sylvia. I think that is a spam comment, whatever your dreams online are. So we're going to get rid of that. We're not, I don't like that. I don't know who you are, Sylvia, but let's not put links in there that might be bad. No bad behavior is allowed on the Ask the Builder live stream in the chat. That's where I need Will, or I need a moderator. See, you're right. See, this is now coming back to haunt me. I need to have a moderator. Oh yeah, you banned that with your chimneys. Okay, Steve's got, I use a water filter that does filter fluoride and chlorine. Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Now, here's the trouble with those inline filters. Isn't it funny how we just wander all over in these live streams? One of the things, if you have a filter in your water system, your water supply, your drinking water, you really need to be on top of changing those things. And the reason why is you can get sick. My father-in-law was a medical doctor. We talked about this at great length one day. So you have to be on top of these filters, because you just have to make sure that you're changing them frequently, or as they're supposed to be changed, because if you don't, there's always bacteria in the water. And the bacteria can then, whatever is being caught by the filter, the bacteria might really start to thrive on that. So you just have to realize, don't be asleep at the wheel with those filters. Can't believe, I mean, we got the Mary Poppins movie over here in America. Mary Poppins, and Mary Poppins' buddy in the movie was Dick Van Dyke, the chimney sweep. Are you kidding me? I mean, I thought the chimneys and chimney sweeps were as much a part of London as Big Ben. Just it's oh my gosh. Oh, don't get me started on this whole climate change thing again. The only thing I don't like about this this streaming video is I wish, and I mean, I know you could do it with Zoom call. I know there's other ways. I wish there was a way that you could talk back. I wish we could have a discussion other than the chat. So, oh well. Steve, all right, that is a great comment. Oh my gosh. You said, here's what Steve says. I read fluoride is good for your teeth in small bits. Is this a lie? Well, it might be. So I'm going to tell you something. I'm actually going to share a link here of a video that you should watch. All right. And there's this video that I'm going to share with you. You're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. All right. I'm just going to warn you. But I want you to watch the video for at least, I think it happens within the first 20 minutes. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long. And there's a small, like 3-minute segment, Steve, in it that is going to shake you to the core. And it's going to shake everybody else to the core. And I've known about this for a long time because I've been online since 1995. And I think that if you surveyed most people, if you took a random survey, like if you stood outside the grocery store and had a clipboard in your hand and you looked official, like even make up a fake badge, like it could just say surveys unlimited. I don't care. All right, just have some fun with it. And just start asking people randomly, like, here's the question you ask them. Do you think the top 3 results that Google returns to you in a search are the best information about that topic? That's the question. And I would be willing to bet you, I'd be willing to bet $1,000 that's over 70% of the people would go, yeah, whatever those top 3 results are, that's the best information. No, it's not. It's not. All right. So watch this video. Like I said, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. All right. And I'm not going to discuss the video. And here's the other thing you need to realize. The first 3 minutes of the video was a simulation. It was a simulation. Pay very close attention to what's on the screen and what the words are when this video starts to play. But like I said, when the narrator gets to the part about search results, about things that are in Google, things that are on Facebook, wherever, it's going to shake you to the core. And especially mainstream media. Like if you watch, I don't care what news outlet you watch, it doesn't matter. Just wait till you see this video. Hi, Alex. I'm doing pretty good. All right. Watch that video. And then if you have any comments about it, you want to talk about it, you got to hit me off list. All right. You know how to get in touch with me. This is not hard. If you're here watching this live stream, you're in touch with me. All right. What? Big Ben is broken? Are you kidding me? That's unacceptable. All right, let me get caught up here. So Missing says, we have a well on our property. It failed the bacteria test and had to be shocked. Yeah, that can happen. That's exactly right. There can be bacteria in the water. All right. Dominique says UK is going to have fluoride added to the water soon. So that's exactly opposite, I think, what Steve said. Yeah, Steve. So Dominique, Steve is here on the chat and watching the live stream. He's in the UK as well. He said farther up that it's off the thing. That anyway, that fluoride has been taken out of the water in the UK, or at least in parts of the UK. But anyway, you said you're horrified. It's extremely hard to filter out. Yes, it is. All right. Yes, exactly right, Steve. Fluoride is bad for your pineal gland. Exactly. Alex, I'm doing fine. I hope you're doing well too. See how much I have so much fun on these live streams. It is so interesting. Such an interesting time. What did I want to say? And then, we've been on now for an hour. Crazy. Just so you know, for me, it feels like it's 5 minutes. Maybe 10. It's insane. So, what else did I want to tell you? I had something else I wanted to tell you. I mentioned it the other day. I don't think you were here, Steve. I'm going to be, the next 2 weeks are going to be light. I mean, I'm only going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and the following week leading up to Christmas. And then the week between Christmas and New Year's, I'm not going to be here at all. And the reason why is I always take that week off, and I just kind of do like some big, what I call big thinking. I mean, I just kind of, I don't want to say I vegetate, but I don't want to have any distractions. And I think about the upcoming year, and I think about what I want to do and what my pathway is to hopefully get the things done that I want to do. So it's kind of I guess you could say it's a planning week for me. So I'll be back, whatever it is, January 1st, 2nd. I'd be back January 3rd. All right. But anyway, just make sure down in the chat, I've got that video. Make sure you watch that video. But only remember what I was talking about. We were talking about, like you asked the question, is fluoride good? You think it's good? Oh, I see. The UK's thinking about putting after Brexit. Interesting. You have to understand that everything that's going on in the world and in your country, George R.R. Martin brought it all back up again and tried to put it right in front of you in his Game of Thrones book and in the Game of Thrones TV series. You can watch all those videos on YouTube. It's all Game of Thrones stuff. And so there are people, see, like us, like me and you, or like you. George R.R. Martin calls you and I a small folk. That's what we're called in the book series. Meaning we're meaningless. We don't matter. Just the people up here, they're the only ones that are important. And so they do things and they're pulling the levers for whatever they want. And then it affects all of us. So it's a bad deal. I mean, I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of people are trying to get to America, although America right now, anyway, we don't want to go there. All right. We don't want to go there. Boy, no fluoride in the water, man. Bad. So, I mean, you can use the fluoride water to take a shower and for the toilet and wash your dishes. Just that, I think you want to buy bottled water to drink. That's all. And to cook with. So anyway, simple as that. All right. Why don't we hang it up here? It's late for you, Steve. Late for you, Dominique, over there in the UK. I was half an hour late here today. I had a great time today. Thank you for all the great conversation, the great questions. Great questions. Wonderful stuff. Who would have ever think that we were going to be talking about sewage plants? I mean, it's just crazy. In springs. Like if you have not gone online and looked up the Bristol, New Hampshire spring, you really need to do it. They got a neat page about it. It's really, really historic. And the water is so amazing. Oh my gosh. Great stuff. Okay. I'm going to, let's see. Oh, well, thank you, Missing. Thank you so much. I'm glad you stopped by and do whatever you can to spread the word about the stream. We're trying to build it out, trying to get as many people as we can watching it. This is a tough time of year. I know that. It's a really tough time. I mean, people are busy with Christmas. So, oh, hi, Steve. Yeah. What did I tell you the story about? Well, what's funny? I told the story about that. I'll give you some background though, because I love that. So Steve says, I loved your video on the experiment on the wet wipe flushing, by the way. All right. Thank you. I had a lot of fun doing that video. Here's what happened. So a really good friend of mine who lives in Los Angeles, he and I were talking on the phone one day. He called me because he needed advice on how to set a toilet. And I said, why did you have to take the toilet? Oh, because we had to have a plumber come out, and the drain line was clogged with all these wet wipes. I go, what? Yeah. My wife uses them, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, and he said, yeah. He said, I went online and did all kinds of research, and it's a huge problem. So I thought, okay, I'll do some research. So I did, and I then decided to write a column about it. And I've learned over the years, because my column still runs in about 60 papers nationwide. I mean, it's some big papers. And if you make a mistake, like if I make a mistake in my column, I'm here to tell you, you hear about it. I mean, it's you do not want to make a mistake, is all I can tell you. Years ago, I made 2 of them early on in my career. All right. So I've learned, and I've seen enough sunrises, look at the color of that. I've seen enough sunrises. All right. So I knew that this was a big topic. So I took the time. I got it right. I nailed the column. All right. So I get an email probably, I don't know, a week after it started running across the papers in the United States from this outfit. And it was you actually saw the letter or the email in the video, called from the Flushable Wipes Alliance or something. It's from the PR person. And I feel sorry for this guy. He's just the messenger. He's getting paid, and he says, we need you to make a correction or issue a retraction. I forget exactly what the letter said, but he basically felt that I was wrong in the column, which I wasn't. And so we got on the phone together. This guy got on the phone. Nice guy. And I don't get angry at these people, because I understand the dynamic. The poor guy, it's his job. He's getting paid by these people who make flushable wipes to try to put pressure on me. All right. Well, that doesn't work. He doesn't know me very well. So he's talking on the phone, and I don't know if I put in the column or not. I can't remember now. It's been 3 or 4 years. And I thought he knew that I was a master plumber. And anyway, the way the phone conversation was going, I forget his name. It doesn't matter. I just told him, I said, you know what? I said, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I said, I'm not going to rewrite the column. I'm actually going to create a video. And I said, I'm going to show people exactly what happens when they flush these things down their toilet. And that was the whole purpose of the video, was just to show you, here's what happens. You put it in, down she goes. And then I set up that whole system, 70 feet of piping, to simulate like the end of your sewer line, where it would connect to the city sewer, or where it might go into the septic system, like at my house. All right. So it was a very valid test. And what's more is, I had told the guy on the phone call, I said, does your alliance have a set of testing standards? Yeah, we do. I said, send them to me. Send me the testing standard, because I'm going to follow your standard, unless it's wrong, unless it is against best plumbing practice. And their standard was right, as far as foot of fall and all this other stuff. So I used their standard in the test. All right. So the funny thing is I never heard a word from them ever again after that video came out. Well, after I did the video, I immediately that day, once it was published, I emailed the guy. I said, "Hey, remember when I told you I was going to do this video? Here it is." Well, he never responded, and I get it. What happens is it's a poker game. All right, if you've ever played poker, all right. So when you deal in my business of information, where I'm getting out, so the here's what it is. I used to play poker. I played poker with buddies and our wives. It was always fun. We played like nickel, dime, quarter. It was not big stakes. We were just there to have fun. So anyway, what it's like in my world when you're dealing with these PR people, it's a poker game because they're saying, "Well, I've got a flush," and I go, "Good for you. I've got 4 aces or a royal flush," whatever. So in other words, because I'm the one with the pen, I'm the one with the video camera, so I can beat him all the time. All right, so, and that's what I did to that guy. So that's the background story of the flushable wipes video. But like I said, what's really the takeaway, but see, you never get to see this because you're not intercepting my email. You're not here to hear my phone ring. Is when I do things like that, and when I am right, when I'm telling you the truth, then those people shut up. They stop talking to me. Because if I was wrong, they would point out that if my video, here's all you need to know, then believe $1 million industry, maybe $1 billion industry. I have no idea how many of those crazy, stupid wipes are sold every year, but it's a big business. If I was the CEO of one of those companies and I saw my video and it was wrong, I would say, go get a video made right now that points out that Tim Carter's video is wrong, and do it illegally, whatever it says, but show exactly the parts of the video that are wrong. Well, since that video doesn't exist on YouTube, what does it tell you? Now, you should take that lesson for everything that you see. So in other words, it's like point counterpoint. So I was playing poker, or the Flushable Wipes Alliance and I were playing poker, and I won. Oh my gosh. All right. So that's the long story. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that. So I'm going to hit the road here. Going to have some dinner. Steve, thanks for being here. Dominique's missing. Look who's here. Alex, Steve, Sylvia. Sylvia was bad. I think Sylvia didn't do anything again. Sylvia is the person I deleted that comment. Next time Will's here, I'm going to talk to Will. Maybe you too, Steve, about making you a moderator. I need to have somebody on top of that because Will warned me that this was going to happen, that people are going to find the stream and they're going to start putting stuff in the chat. And so we don't want garbage in the chat. We want that stuff deleted out of here. So anyway, Missing says someone needs to invent a biodegradable trash holder for those wipes. So that's what I said in the video. If you watched it, Missing, it's just that, just all you got to do is you can use the wipes. I said that. Go ahead, use the wipes. If you like the wipes, use the wipes. Don't put them in the toilet. Just go get one of those trash cans with a lid with a plastic liner that's got a deodorant in it, whatever. Put the flipping wipe in the thing, close the lid, empty it frequently so the bathroom doesn't smell, whatever. Just don't put them in a toilet. I wasn't trying to kill their business. I was just trying to hold their feet to the fire because I feel that they're being unethical. I mean, that was the whole point of the video, Steve. If you watch it, it was just that I tried to show, yes, they're flushable. You can flush them down the toilet. Doesn't mean you should flush them. Look at all the other things we can flush down the toilet. I flushed army men down. I flushed underwear down. I flushed all kinds of stuff down the toilet. All right. It doesn't mean you can flush rocks down the toilet. You're not supposed to do it. So we don't want to be putting those wipes in the toilet. Simple as that. Just put them in a trash can. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Steve, if you're still here, good night, buddy. I'll be here tomorrow. Thanks very much, Obi. And remember, suggestions about how to make it better, I'll do whatever I can. And I'm having a really, really great time doing the live stream. So thanks so much for being here. I'll be here tomorrow. And who knows where we're going to go with the topics. I understand that. Yeah. Okay, good. You know what? I'm going to set you up. Let's do that right now. All right. I just made you a moderator. All right. So, you know that I don't know if you saw the Spider-Man movie. Remember that line in Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. All right. So, all right. I trust you. All right. So, all right. No worries. And don't feel obligated that you have to be here, because when I see Will next time, I'm going to make Will a moderator too, because he's here frequently. All right. So have a great night. And thanks so much for being here. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for chatting, because that's your chats, your questions. That's my rocket fuel. If you have not figured that out yet, because that's what makes it so lively, and we can switch gears and go places. So I need you to be part of the live stream. I need you to be part of the live stream. It's that simple. So, and look how easy it is. All right. Have a great night. And I know I will too. And I'll be here tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye. I'm Tim Carter, askthebuilder.com.